Hey guys, it's me, Kay from the Bruja Chronicles, here to do a little bit of a different reading. Actually not a reading. It's gonna be, can you tell I'm nervous? It's gonna be kind of like a little one-on-one tea time with me, your Bruja. I haven't done one of these in like forever, and I really wanted to sit down and talk to you about the whole twin flame and soulmates journey. I see so many videos on YouTube, I see so many people post up on IG, and I kind of wanted to give you my insight, my own opinion on it, my own personal journey on it, because you know, I am a very spiritual person. This is my own journey. And yeah, kind of putting out the disclaimer of like, I am not perfect. I do not know everything. And what I do know, this is done by my own research and my own experience. So whatever I say, this is me. This is solely me. So there may be other people that say differently or experience differently. That's them. This is my own story to tell. So I figured, well, I started my page, I started my channel called The Bruja Chronicles, and this is kind of like a little bit of my own personal journey and journal. So I kind of wanted to put this out there. And if you like this kind of video, if you want more of these, let me know. If this resonates, definitely let me know. But I definitely feel like it will. As a tarot reader, I do a lot of love readings. And I kind of wanted to talk about this journey because I do specialize in relationships and love. I've done a lot of candle work with it. I've done a lot of, not like breaking up relationships or anything, but like attracting love, self-love, that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily believe in doing love spells to go against someone's free will. That's not me. That's not what I do. But when it comes to spiritual mentorship, when it comes to the whole twin flame journey, I definitely know a lot about it. So when spirits kind of give me the nudge, like, talk about it, Carrie. Now is the time. Sit down and let go. So here we go. All right, so let's do definitions. So the whole twin flame thing, right? So twin flames are supposed to be one soul split into two, and then they are put out into the universe. They're put into whomever. So it could be male or female. It could be two females, two guys. It could be whatever. Like it's fluid. That gender doesn't really matter. When we talk about like divine feminine and divine masculine, that's more the fact that you will have more attributes of someone being more feminine and someone being more masculine, but we have that within each of us. And it's all a matter of balancing that out. But yeah, typically you have one that is more of the divine feminine and one that is the divine masculine. Soulmates, they're, you know, people that you have connections, like this really strong attraction to, and they can be someone that you stay with your whole life. You know, they're someone that you have this connection to, that you love, you learn lessons with, and typically that relationship is really, really good. This is someone that could be like your best friend. Even having like a soulmate relationship with your mom or dad, like a parent, you know, there's someone that you've probably had lifetimes with before, and they're there to help you on your journey, to love you, to guide you. Typically that's what a soulmate relationship is. Karmic relationships are typically someone that you have a very like strong, passionate attraction to. Like you guys definitely attract one another, but you guys butt heads more than anything else. And they're there to teach you your lessons. They are there to, they like ruin your life. They're karmic relationships are horrible, but it's basically to clear up karma. And twin flames have this whole stigma of it's a roller coaster. It's so ugly, it's so messy, and then it's so beautiful, because you have karma that plays out within this connection. So hopefully that kind of defines things a little bit between the three, I suppose. And I also wanted to like talk about soul contracts. So this is kind of like before you're born, this is predestined, I guess, where you as a soul being in spirit, you write out kind of like a contract with another spirit and another soul, and you kind of lay out the ground rules of you guys are going to meet, you guys are going to teach each other this, that, and the other thing, you guys are going to be together for a certain amount of time. When you learn your lesson, or when you get past this, or whatever it is, that's how long you guys stay together. So that's why, you know, people say some people are in your life for, you know, like a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Like people are in your life for a really, really long time, or just to teach you a lesson, or just for a short amount of time. You know, some people are really temporary. Okay. Whew. So hopefully you're still with me here. I'm gonna take a little sip. So my own twin flame journey kind of came about when I went down like the YouTube rabbit hole, and I was watching other YouTube readers talk about this whole twin flame thing. And I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I was literally that kind of person that people were like, oh my God, this is my soulmate, and I'm going to marry him forever. I would roll my eyes. I'd be like, ew, like, that's not for me. Ugh. I was that girl that judged. I really did. But I started kind of watching these videos on twin flames and soulmates and this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, wouldn't that be funny? Like, I would totally like to experience that. I think this is around the time when I was going through my divorce, I think. Yes, I was married before. I'm divorced now. I'm a single mom. That's my story. And I think I was going through my divorce and kind of like doing some research, or kind of reading up on twin flames and watching YouTube videos and kind of getting a feel for it. And I was just like, wouldn't this be fun to like manifest someone into my life, to be like, let's see, like, let's give this a shot, y'all. This is why I'm doing this reading, because this is part of my, you know, spiritual journey. This is part of my healing process. And I just kind of want to put it out there of like what I went through, and hopefully this helps someone else out. I don't really care what other people think about this. I don't really like, I'm not doing this to, you know, stab anyone in the back or anything like that. This is just me being real, sitting here telling you my side of the story of what I experienced. So yes, so I decided to put it out there, put the intention out there. Like, I really would like to manifest like my own twin flame, or a connection like that. And I ended up meeting him. There are definitely going to be no names here. They knew who they are. And yeah, that's all she wrote. But, yeah, I ended up meeting him, and he was amazing at first. Literally, like, it was an instant connection. We were constantly talking all the time, and I was just like, wow, like, someone actually understands my weird, like, someone gets me. Like, we could talk all night. We could, I don't know, we liked similar music. We would like send music like back and forth, and like it was so much more than that. It was just one of those things that when it started, it was just like puppy love. Like, it was just adorable. Like, we really did connect. We really did click. We really did understand each other. And I feel like as a spiritual person, it's interesting to find people with depth, with substance, people that you connect with really well, especially if you found that in life you don't really connect well with others because, I don't know, and it's not so much like an intelligence thing. It's just more like some people are very superficial, some people are very shallow. So when you talk to them, you can't really go much deeper than the everyday life, you know, like, oh, what game is on, or oh, what like you just can't go dive in deeper and have these like really I don't know, in-depth conversations. So yeah, so I met him and it was amazing. It was wonderful. And then it went downhill. And it was definitely the whole runner and chaser story. People always say, you know, twin flames, like it's a very intense kind of like love story. And there's always like a runner, there's always a chaser, someone pursuing the relationship and someone always running away because it's too intense or they don't feel good enough or whatever that is. It was definitely that kind of a situation. And we definitely did this whole on and off thing of talking and blocking and deleting and getting rid of, and then suddenly they're back in your life, and it's just like, it was a whole thing. And there was definitely a karmic person in the whole mix too, which, yeah, disclaimer, like I am definitely a person that it's like, this is a no judgment zone with me, especially when I do a lot of love readings. Like love readings are messy. Love readings can be very ugly. It's not always the, you know, Jack and Sally and they're together and blue. Like, no, like it's not always like that. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, this girl met this guy and they're married and this, that, and the other thing. And it gets sloppy. And then there's the people that are cheaters and the liars, and yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into it. And I feel like with the twin flame journey, depending on the karma that you guys have to play out, it can be like that. For some people, it's the whole narcissist role versus, you know, the empath or the person that's just really receptive or people pleasing. And yeah, it was very similar to that. I don't want to necessarily call this person a narcissist. Some of my girlfriends are like, yeah, he's straight up a narcissist. And I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not holding any grudges or resentments or anything. I'm good right now, but it's just one of those things that I look back on and I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I went through that. 1, 2, it was like, thank God I dodged a bullet. Like, I think if that person was more emotionally mature, it would have worked out. If we were on the same page, it would have worked out. But it didn't. So yeah, it was rough. And now I'm trying to think of like exactly what I want to say. But yeah, it's real, guys. Like the whole connection with twin flames and soulmates and soul contracts, it definitely is real. I learned a lot from the connection, because like we were very close. We were really close friends. And we were definitely lovers too, if that makes sense. But it was like, he was the type of person that would trigger the shit out of me, like trigger me. And I wasn't one of those people that was insecure or jealous. Like I'm very trusting, which was a flaw. And it was one of those things that it just kind of, certain situations would pop up and present themselves. And I'm like, wow, I would react. And I'd be like, that's not me. Like, I'm not the type of person that pops off. I'm not the type of person that like makes a scene or yells or does this whole thing. But he really kind of opened my eyes to how I react as a person, to situations that are hard, to situations that I never thought I'd be in. And yeah, so I definitely was triggered a lot. And a lot of it too stemmed from my childhood, from what I've experienced growing up. And I think that's what your spiritual journey is all about too, being able to heal the things that you grew up with. Like I experienced, or I saw a lot of like domestic violence. I saw a lot of the lying, the cheating, the abusive kind of relationships. I experienced like the whole abandonment. So I had, I guess, as people would call it, like daddy issues, because my dad left when I was really young. And yeah, it was like a lot of things would pop up in this relationship that would just trigger me, and I'd be like, what the fuck? And I'd blow up. But that's just part of it too. I know a lot of it, I know I can't speak for him necessarily, but I knew that a lot of times I would push him outside of his comfort zone. And we definitely had a lot of talks, like deep talks about, you know, we'd blow up, get into an argument, and then come right back and be like, well, why did this happen? How can we resolve it? How can we move forward from this? And try to work things out versus, you know, whatever, having it get physical or having it be super ugly. It was always just trying to resolve things. And yeah, let's see, what else? Yes, definitely. It was a relationship that triggered me. It taught me a lot. It taught me also to trust my intuition. That was one of the major things that I had to learn. As a bruja, as a curandera, you know, so witch, healer, even doing Reiki, feeling energy. It's so important for me to trust my intuition, especially doing readings. Like, a lot of times people will come to me, they won't ask me a question, they'll just be like, read me, like, do a video for me, I love replaying it. Or, you know, they'll, especially on the spot in person, they'll be like, whatever message spirit has for me, give it to me. And I'm like, bet, like, let's go. And a lot of what I get, it's because I trust my spirit guides, I trust my ancestors, I trust the messages that I'm receiving, I trust my cards too. Like, I have faith in that. And this relationship that I had with my twin flame tested that a lot, because in my head I'd get these nudges, I'd get, like, even doing readings for myself, sometimes I just have to throw the cards aside because I'd be like, I don't want to see this, or I don't want to know. Because I didn't want to believe it. You know, I didn't want to believe that the person that I was in love with would lie or would cheat on me or would put me in a third party situation. And it was very interesting because how we started out too, I was recently divorced, like brand new, like a month recently divorced. And of course I wasn't like looking for anything serious. I was like, all right, I'll talk to people, I'll mingle, this is fun, like, will be fun, because I really wanted to focus on my business and I really wanted to focus on myself and taking care of myself, and I didn't want to jump into a relationship. And I think for him too, like, we had established that he was separated, and I was just like, all right, cool, so he's gonna be going through the whole process when I met and everything. So I was like, all right, well, they're not even living together, they're separated, they have their own things. I was like, cool, like, I don't have to worry about anyone, it'll be great, like, we'll just keep it casual. That was just like okay, interesting, because it didn't turn out to be that way. It was like that whole summer went by, and then it was like, oh shit, like, I actually have feelings for this person. It got serious because we were together like every day, hanging out, going out, spending time at each other's places. Like, it was just one of those relationships that's like sparked, and it was just very like, suddenly we were all together all the time. So we got really close. And from there, it was like, once the summer was over, once I got my girls back, then it was like real life set in of the whole work schedule and me being a mom, and then trying to include someone else into my life, and still not keeping it super serious because I didn't want to be in a relationship, and neither did he. Like, it was just more like, it was cool being what we were and not putting a label on it, not doing anything like that. And I think after a certain while, I was just like, okay, so where's this going? What are we doing? And that's when things got complicated. And that's when fights and arguments would start, because it was like resistance, and then we weren't on the same page. And then it was like we broke up. The first time we broke up, it was a major fight, major argument. Broke up. Anyways, that's when Karmic stepped in and sent me like an email, and I was like, who the fuck? It was really funny actually, because I was like, I'm not even talking to him, like, what, who is this person? Like, basically cussed me out, told me all this information, and and blah, 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 like saying that I'm bitter and that I manipulated the whole situation, like the whole relationship that they had. And I was like, I don't even know who you are. Like, what is this? And I remember sending it to him, and he was just like, yeah, like that's just one of my crazy exes, and you know, sorry, blah, blah, blah. And that sparked us talking back again. Well, it turns out this karmic, or this other person, was kind of the other woman during like his marriage, and like they had their own thing, but he broke it off with her, supposedly. And it was weird because she was stalking my page, she was all over my stuff, and I didn't really realize it until I started noticing who would watch my stories, or I started noticing, you know, certain things. Like I ended up getting really jealous in the relationship because he was one of those guys that had his profiles and would like all these other girls' stuff and follow only girls. And I was just like, well, what the fuck, bro? Like, what are we if you're gonna be doing all that? And I know a lot of girls can relate when it comes to that, because then it's just like, well, wait a minute. So yeah, that happened. And then it was us back together, and then us splitting up, and it was this back and forth thing. It was constantly us being back and forth. I remember it just felt like we were constantly on a wheel, and I felt like I was stuck. I was in a relationship that it was like, it wasn't moving forward. I wasn't really getting what I wanted. I felt love for this person felt love for me, but it was like, where is this going? It wasn't really going anywhere. And then this person just kept popping in, kept butting in. I would receive phone calls, I would receive emails, it was just like a lot. And I think after a few times of it was like the final straw. And that's when the tower moment came down. That's when everything came crumbling down. And it was just like me putting my foot down and being like, listen, it's over. And that was really, really hard, especially realizing that this person that I loved, that I trusted, that I wanted to have a relationship with and saw a future with, was in fact just being very immature and putting me in a third-party situation, lying to me, being very manipulative, being emotionally abusive. And it's funny because I know he would say that I was being emotionally abusive right back, but it's like, bet, like, don't treat me a certain way and then you won't get anything. Like, I told you, he triggered me. So it was a lot of back and forth, like tit for tat kind of stuff. And after a certain point, I was just like, this is too much. This is too toxic. Like, I need to learn to love myself more and realize when I need to get the fuck out of something. And that was the hardest freaking lesson. Like, being in love with someone and saying bye. Like, you're too much. It's over. It's done. And it's crazy because it was always this back and forth thing of me being like, we're done. And then he would creep back in and it would just be like, I love you. And it's like, fuck you, because you know how to use your words to get right back in. And yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Like, especially when you have this attraction, you have this chemistry, you have this connection, and you just know that when you're with each other, you can kick it, you can talk, you can laugh, like, you enjoy each other's company. But it's like there's always something that's just like, you annoy the shit out of me, like, you just so yeah, that's how the relationship was like. And it's just interesting kind of looking back on it, because I was like, this taught me a whole hell of a lot, that I need to love myself more, that I need to be healed before really getting into a relationship. And also being aware that, like, if you want something solid, you want something committed, like, pay attention to the actions of the other person. Pay attention to their words, you know, if they're saying stuff like, you know, like you could do better. That was one. Or like, I feel like I'm wasting your time. And it was almost like a guilt trip too. Like, I feel like I'm wasting your time, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but I love you. Like, just love me. Like, just shut the fuck up and like be with me. It would always be like that, you know. It was always like, I love you, but and that's just like really complicated. That's really tough. And realizing that's not what love is. That's not what a healthy love is. You know, that's what kind of crazy love is. That's that struggle love. You know, you guys struggle with one another. It's constant battle. It's always like someone's hurting the other person. And that's not what a high level vibrational, you know, love connection is. And that's why in some of my twin flame readings, I say, you know, some twin flame connections are not going to come together. Some people are not going to come into union, because if both parties are not putting in that work to heal themselves, doing like inner child healing, doing shadow work, you know, really kind of taking a look in the mirror and seeing the things about you that you need to heal, the things about you that you need to address. If both parties are not doing that, then it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy connection. It's off balance. And it would feel like, I know that whole runner and chaser story, it's definitely off balanced. It's definitely one of those things too that's like, well, when is someone going to have enough? And yeah, with it being off balance too, it's always just like the person that's just high vibed, at least me, I felt like I was high vibed. I definitely feel like he taught me a lot when it came to controlling my emotions and other things, but it was like, I felt like I'd be high vibed. I felt like I'd be, you know, trying to give, trying to love, trying to help him, trying to fix him or heal him. And it was always just like giving, 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 and not receiving an equal measure of what I wanted. And it's not like he didn't give to me, but it would always just be like just enough to keep me going, just enough to, you know, keep the relationship going, just enough to keep me piqued and interested and hopeful for more. So that's what it always felt like. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I just felt like I needed to come on here. And I know I'm like going on a rant, but it's just one of those things that I've experienced that I'm like, I know other people have experienced this. I know other people know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to these kind of relationships. And I'm like, I know people will say too, like, oh, that's a false twin. That's not your real twin. That's not this. That's not that. And I'm just like, but it is. And everyone's experience is different with what they're going to, you know, how they're going to connect with their twin, how they're going to meet them, how their relationship is going to go, the dynamics of what you guys are going to teach one another. And yeah, it was a lot. For me, it was definitely self-love, self-worth, forgiveness too, like learning to forgive someone, like knowing when to love from a distance. That was a big one. And kind of standing up for myself a lot. It was a lot of throat chakra healing. And yeah, definitely heart healing for sure, because it all brought up drama. It all brought up like trust issues and jealousy and all of that. And it's just like, no, I know for me, like my next step is definitely putting more work into myself. And if someone approaches me, it's being honest with them, like, listen, like, this is the deal. Like, these are my expectations. These are my wants. If this isn't, you know, if we're not connecting on that level, if we're not going to be on the same page, then this isn't going to go any further. And also, like, you want someone in your life with love that you can grow with, you know? You can't just stay stuck on the same thing, you know? There's only so much. And I feel like it's also kind of like some relationships are almost like Peter Pan. It's almost like Peter Pan and Wendy. Yes, like Peter Pan always wanted to just be a kid, always wanted to have fun, and Wendy was just like, all right, like now eventually it's time to grow up. It's time to, you know, like let go of that past. And that's what it felt like within this connection, that whole runner and chaser thing. It would be me being like, all right, well, I want something stable, I want something committed, I want something solid. And it's like, you know, this is me, this is what I'm giving. And it was always like that expectation of like, well, what do I get from you? Like, when is the next step coming? And it was always a waiting game. So yeah, let me see, what else can I say? I'm just trying to like jog my memory of what I wanted to say. I didn't write anything down, didn't write no notes. So yeah. But either way, I don't know, I just felt like coming on real quick and kind of explaining my own story. I feel like I should leave it as a brief thing. If you guys end up having any questions down below or wanting to do kind of like a Q&A or something live, I'm definitely open to it. And definitely open to talking more about these kind of subjects and doing more videos on like twin flame journey or the spiritual journey even, and explaining it, because I do a lot of mentorship. I do a lot with like my love readings and stuff where I dive in and I talk to people about this. So, and I do this more on like a one-on-one level, but I want this to be more broad. I want to be able to talk about this, you know, with other people, and like kind of letting them know what I feel about it, because I definitely feel like the whole mainstream, like social media, they romanticize the whole twin flame journey. But it's like, if you really look at it, like, why would you ever do that? Like, why? What sane person, like, what sane person would be like, I want a twin flame relationship? No, that's someone that's naive. That's someone that's a little ignorant. Like, and also with twin flames, they say that when these two come together, that they're meant for a higher purpose. They're meant for a mission, you know, they're meant to help the world heal. They're meant for something greater than what they are together, combined. And I agree. I definitely feel like there are relationships that they are the power couple. They are the people that they help one another grow and heal and elevate, and not just that, they help the people around them do the same. You know, they help, you know, their best friends, their closest friends, their family members, like kind of all level up, if that makes sense. They kind of help everyone around them heal. And I feel like that's strongly what the twin flame journey is, like connecting with someone and growing with them, and also shedding light on one another, because you definitely mirror one another. You definitely have either similar paths, and also a lot of differences too. With twin flames, a lot of times people will be like, oh, there'll be an age difference, or there'll be like a cultural difference, or there'll be like how you guys were raised was different, your beliefs, like there'll be things that'll be off the walls different, but there will definitely be this attraction, this connection, and yeah, that's very real. And kind of like the telepathy too, that's real too. Being able to kind of send messages to one another. I remember kind of testing the theory, and he tested the theory too, and it was really funny, being like, all right, I'm not gonna talk to this, I'm not gonna text, I'm not gonna call, I'm not gonna anything for like an hour or two. Let's just see if they text. Let's just see if I can send something and they pick up on it, and see what happens. And literally within a few minutes of sometimes even thinking of something, it's an automatic text, it's an automatic call, it's something, and then you're like, holy shit, that's creepy. Yeah, like that's real. Like when you connect with someone in the 3D, like physical, you also can, these kind of connections, these kind of relationships, you connect in the 5D, you connect in the mind. So that I will confirm and say, yeah, that's real. That's real. What else? Let me see. Oh, my thoughts on like the karmic. So, it was hard because, like a big part of me like wanted to hate her, really. Like I would get pissed. I'd be like, who the fuck is this, and blah blah blah. Like I don't want to deal with someone, like I don't deserve this bullshit. And I know I don't deserve the drama, I don't deserve the bullshit, didn't deserve any of that. But it was hard because I would get these phone calls, or I would see these emails from this person, and I was just like, you know what, like I connect with that person because she has feelings for the same person. Like we're both in love with the same person. And it's like, wow, just two completely different people. Though I felt like in a certain sense it was kind of like an ego trip for her to try to like steal him away from me, or try to get back with him and not really care. Like she played her games too. She manipulated him in a lot of ways. And I was just like, this person is crazy, this person's delusional, this person is on an ego trip right now. And then I also felt bad because I was just like, you know what, like you don't think you deserve any better than this either. Like you feed into the games, you feed into the drama, you feed into what makes it crazy. And that was hard too. It was hard looking at it from that perspective of not being like, well, this person's attacking me, this person hates me, this person's stalking me. It was kind of like, well, she's also a person too. She was also looking for love and got hurt in the process, and is still stuck on that cycle of feeding into it and playing games and being manipulated and manipulating as well. So for me, it was just being able to be like, you know what, take them, I'm good, I'm running. Like, bet you can have them. Like, it was just one of those things that I was just like, oh my gosh, I deserve so much more. And I also wish for her the best. I wish for her to find someone amazing, to find someone that she connects with, and to find something that's healthy, you know, something that, you know, you don't have to stress and worry about who this person's talking to on the phone, or, you know, is this person lying, and then having to research and dig and look for information and being stressed about that, or crying, you know, late at night over somebody, and having to be that crazy person to text and email and put themselves on the line like that. I wish for her to heal from this experience. I wish to, you know, that she finds someone amazing. And to like my twin flame too, I remember after blocking, deleting from everything else, the only form of communication was just like emailing. And at that point it was just like, well, I'm saying no, I'm shutting this down entirely. But I was just like, you know what, thank you for this lesson, thank you for everything, because even though it ended badly, even though it opened my eyes to seeing a lot of different things, it was also a lot of good with it as well. So I can't always say like, oh, this was horrible, this was this, this was that. It was a roller coaster. It really was. There was a lot of good, there was a lot of bad, and there was a lot of ugly. But I feel like that's what it is with stories like this, with, you know, twin flame journeys and the whole soulmate thing, and connections like that. There's always, you know, his side, her side, the karmic side. There's always, you know, the good and the bad and the ugly. That, like I said, like there's always going to be something to learn from and appreciate. There's always something that's going to like irritate you, and then there's going to be something that devastates you. So there was a whole lot of everything within that. And basically it was me wishing him well. It was me wishing him love too, and realizing, you know, what he's doing, and hoping that he heals, and that when someone better, or not better, but I'm playing, that's ego. But when someone comes along that's healed and he's healed, that they can connect and he can do it right the second time around, you know? Because I feel like with love, I feel like if you have the chance, if you're lucky enough to find love, if you're lucky enough to find that kind of connection, then it's like, appreciate it, don't ruin it, don't, you know, it's all a learning process. You know, people that have been in relationships for a long time, it's a struggle, and they realize that relationships are work. You know, you always have that honeymoon phase where things are beautiful and you guys are learning about each other and you're connecting and you're enjoying each other's company, and there's a lot of sex, and, you know, it's steamy and there's lust and there's passion and whatever. But then it gets to the real world and it gets into like, oh my gosh, you have horrible habits, or oh my gosh, like, you know, yeah, then it gets to actually seeing people's true colors and then realizing, like, can I be with this person? Can I love this person with all of that? Am I doing myself a disservice by being with this person? You know, am I loving myself enough and, you know, not putting this person ahead of me? Because with love, like, when you're in a healthy relationship, you love yourself first, and that person adds to your happiness. That person adds love into your life. You know, that person doesn't drain you of your own self-love, self-worth. That person doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. That person doesn't nitpick at you and like make you feel like shit. You know, this person is supposed to help you grow, help you be, you know, a better person, you know, being your biggest cheerleader, being your best friend. You know, love is supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be crazy and hectic, and, you know, it's supposed to be very calming and feeling like you're at home, feeling like you're at peace. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut this off right here. If you guys have any questions, like, leave them down below. I might do like a twin flame or soulmate Q&A. And do another video. I might do a live. Like, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys resonate with this. If you have your own journey that you connect with, and yeah, just let me know, because I was super nervous about doing this video, and like, I didn't want to come off as like bitter or spiteful or whatever. Like, that's not what this is. Like, I'm good now, guys. It was rough, but I'm good now. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to see what you guys think. And if you like these kinds of videos, I would love to do this live. I think I just need to stop being a little chicken and just gather up the courage to be like, all right, let's do this live and let's do, you know, whatever. But if you'd like it, I'm game. And comment down below and we might give it a shot. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with me, listening to my story time, listening to me rant a little. And hopefully you guys get to learn a little bit about my own story, my own experience. I know there's people that are doubters and haters and whatever, like, but I definitely believe in this. I definitely believe in the twin flame journey. I definitely believe in soulmates and soul contracts and finding the right person for you. And I don't necessarily believe that all twin flames will come together in this lifetime. You know, there are people that, you know, there are connections that go many, many lifetimes over and over again, trying to find this connection, trying to both meet up at the same point, because you guys both have to heal. You guys both have to put in that effort. You know, that's why it's always that runner and chaser thing. And there's always that promise of hopefully connecting in a lifetime. And also, I believe too that not everyone has a twin flame. Not everyone is meant to have this kind of connection. I feel like once you go past certain trials and tribulations and certain, you know, connections, I feel like there are some people that are meant to just find love and have like pure, you know, bliss when it comes to love. And in that lifetime, just enjoying another person and not having to go through karmic lessons, not having to go through the roller coaster, the ups and downs, trying to find their person. It just happens easily. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm out. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.